Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where I've taken the precaution of adding a few additional struts in here, because I think that the Canadarm is really going to be flopping around. But beyond that, we're pretty much ready to launch this thing. I am content with its design, and let's put it up on the station. Now, of course, it's going to be a little bit awkward for us to get this put onto the station. How actually are we going to handle that, now that I think about it? We need to build it onto the station, right? But we need the grapple arm that's currently on the end of it to grapple onto the station. And then unbuild it from there. Hang on, is this actually going to not work? Because if we grab onto it, how do we detach it from the shuttle? Alternatively, okay, I want to set this hinge to be... it's not moving at all? Okay, why isn't this hinge actually moving? Oh, because I was changing the traverse rate. I'm dumb. Okay, so we move this guy over to be here just so that I can see what's going on, right? So we grab on with this Advanced Grabbing Unit Junior. Then what? The answer is... that's actually not going to work, because we grab onto it with the grabbing unit. The idea was that we build it with this attached. So we're actually going to need a secondary component here. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring this back to the vehicle assembly. This is a pure Kerbal thing. Kerbal is weird. And because of the way that this grabs on, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to re-rotate this back around to here. I'm going to remove the grabbing unit from here. We're going to store it there for now. We're going to have to strangely put the grabbing unit on a teeny tiny little vehicle. So what that's going to end up looking like is we would put an Octo 2, and we can... It doesn't really matter where exactly this goes right now, but it needs to attach to something, right? So for now, we can put it, like, up at the nose cone, just for building purposes. So it would go with an Octo 2 there. I would want a very, very tiny RCS tank. So that would need to be... that is way too big. I think it would actually end up needing to be a minified monoprop tank, and it would end up being like... this is in 2 symmetry. I would want this to be in like 4 symmetry, right? So it would end up being something kind of like this. And then we put some RCS thrusters on here. And then all it would be this guy. So the nose cone would go on like that. That would be the entirety of the craft. Its purpose would be to be able to latch on and then be disassembled from the back. So now we're going to need a way to deploy that. And the way that we're going to do that is simply by having a docking port junior that is facing this direction, in theory. And then we grab this guy, like so, rotate it to be approximately this way, and attach that here. Now the question is the docking port what it's actually attached to? I don't know. And to that end, we're going to move that up here. The docking port is going to need to get grabbed out of here. If I can grab it. Clip in? Yeah, there we go. So we grab that, and we would attach that guy right there. Then this would get attached like that. Then the docking port would get placed somewhere like this, although I would want to move it out a little bit, perhaps. This might clip through if we do it there. So this might not actually be the actual location we want this. I'm going to undo that and replace it here. So then we grab the docking port. We could simply put it out here. It would be awkward, no doubt about it. We could do that. We could also put it up here and have this be designed to push out of the way. And with us not being able to actually grab the docking port, that may be the best bet. The other thing that we could do, of course, is we could have a docking port that goes this way to attach to it. Like this. And have it come out like that or so. So then the idea would be that we come in here and we undock it here, and then we just grab it on wherever we're going to build it, and then we deliver the grabbing unit that way. So then this would fold out of the way before we eject this, and hopefully it wouldn't explode on ejection. I don't think it would. I think this would be an acceptable compromise. Okay. Let's try it. This is going to be a weird one, no doubt about it. Kerbal is not really designed for doing what I want to do with this, I'm pretty sure. Because we can't just have it connected on both ends by default, right? With a grab arm. So that's not going to be an option. For now, I think we're just going to lift this thing off, and we're going to put it in approximately the correct inclination. So we're going to need to be, for now, on surface up. Let's check in on our inclination. There's an eclipse happening. That's nice. And looks like we need to head forward a little bit here. Okay, so sometime around now or so. And it's right on this line here that we want to be launching our inclination on. Okay, sounds good. Throttle up, and we don't have a nose cone. Okay, we need a nose cone. I forgot to put the nose cone back on. Let's do that real quick here. So the nose cone was not the tiny nose cone. It was, I believe, I don't think it's a miniature. Aerodynamic nose cone? Yes, but it was in dark coloration. Okay. Now we'll put this out on the pad. We'll need to warp forward a little bit again. But let's do that. Let's get this thing up there. We're going to have to build it in reverse after we've attached the arm. It's going to be a little awkward. But we should be able to do it relatively easily. In theory. In theory. I'm not sure where we're going to attach it to the ISS yet. Honestly, I don't think it matters because of the way we're designing it, though. So that's reasonably fine. So up. Position here. Set as target. And let's warp forward just a little bit here. Okay, so right about now or so. Throttle up. And yeah, off we go. Phenomenal. I want to rotate so that up is about this direction or so. Maybe a little further. There we go. And we're just going to soar on through the atmosphere here for a while. Phenomenal. I've added additional strutting in here. I already mentioned that. And that is to prevent it from, like, wheeling around all the time. That's the idea anyway. Hopefully it actually succeeds at that. So far, we don't see anything clipping through, so that's a good sign right there. And up we go. So we're at about 10-kilometer apoapsis right now. And I think we'll push our apoapsis up a little higher than usual. Maybe somewhere around a 40-ish kilometer apoapsis. I want to get a lot of horizontal speed right now. Or rather, a lot of vertical speed right now. So we'll continue to push that up until about that 40-kilometer apoapsis. 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. Okay. So we're going to be bringing this up on this 45-degree angle. This is probably imperfect. Yes, but it's around here or so. No, I don't want you to be on up. Just be on kill rot, please. No, not this far. Okay. We lose our SRBs, so that, of course, makes us wiggle about a bit. but that's to be expected. Okay, let's fix our orientation here. Okay, somewhere around right here. Burning at the horizon, we want to be picking up as much horizontal speed as possible. And we want to be on approximately the correct inclination here. We can see that we're currently like 9 degrees off. That's fine. That's fixable. So no major issues there. Apoapsis height of 70. I'm going to keep burning here until we are at an altitude of about 100. So that'll be reasonably fine for the time being. How are we doing on that inclination? 6.6? It's probably not going to get too much better than about 6 degrees at our current setup. Like, we can see how far off we are from the ascending-descending node. So I think I'm just going to continue burning at horizontal velocity up until we hit 100 kilometer apoapsis. We're at 90 right now. How are we doing on fuel? We've got plenty. 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, and 100. We just hit vacuum as well, so let's ditch our SRBs and let them clear on out of here. Phenomenal. Next up, of course, is going to be our circularization burn. So we're going to get that pushed on out to about here. That is a pretty hefty circularization. No doubt about that. So about there we'll do absolutely fine. We'll park at this node. How's our inclination? 4.2, not too bad. Not too bad at all. I like it. So we've got about 30 seconds until this burn here. We can warp forward a little bit. 10 seconds. And now. Cool. So let's push ourselves into orbit. We're going to try to keep using our big orange tank to do our inclination change as well. But of course, it's kind of awkward at this stage. It's fine though. It's absolutely okay. We're not going to have any actual problems here. In theory. Yeah, it's a little wiggly, but it'll do. So we just need to get a fair amount more velocity here. A couple hundred more meters per second out of this. We just want to get into an orbit. We don't really care which one, and that is an orbit there. Cool. So 4.2 degrees, huh? So at this point, we can definitely go over to the ascending node. And we can go other direction. Yeah, not bad here. 0.2, 0.1, that's 0 right there. Cool. So 158.3 meters per second there. Not bad at all. Now, we're probably not going to want to keep the big orange tank around after we get this inclination change done, and I am going to thrust limit us as well. So we're going to take that down to 10% thrust just to make this a little bit easier to control. There we go. And this one. There we go. Phenomenal. So 10% thrust on all of our main engines. And let's warp on around and get our inclination fixed. Phenomenal. So that's all looking relatively good. 59 seconds to go on this burn now. So we'll just continue to warp forward. 40 seconds. 30, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. So we're just going to burn here. We can physics warp this burn because it is going to be a bit slow on 10% thrust. And it is going to drift on us a bit, but that is reasonably expected. It'll drift on us more and more as we continue to go through this. Okay. So we have about 20 meters per second to go here. I'm going to let us catch up a bit. And in fact, even overshoot it ever so slightly. There we go. About 2 meters per second to go left. Okay, this is probably good enough. How are we doing here? Yeah, 0.0. So that looks phenomenal. Now we can go for an intercept, and what would this end up looking like timing-wise? I'm imagining this is going to not be great for timing. Yeah, indeed, it's not great, and we're going to... That's actually an interesting timing there. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, so we can get an intercept like that, 1.3 kilometers, 220.5 meters per second apart. Technically, we could do this on the big orange tank, but that makes things awkward because of our offset thrust. So I'm not going to do that for right now. I'm going to ditch the big orange tank. We should reconfigure right now for orbital flight and work off of internal fuel. So we're going to ditch that, and we should now have Bill EVA. And let's head on over. Phenomenal. So we're going to position here, and we will reconfigure this for orbital flight. 1. That is not the right one. Okay. 2. 3. And 4. There we go. Change our angle to 0 degrees. And Bill, just to make sure that the engine plate isn't going anywhere, let's strut this right on in at 0 degrees. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The fourth one didn't want to go, but we can just do it internally here. That's not a problem. Cool. So we can now make our way back in. We are reconfigured for orbital flight. Phenomenal. So we'll grab on here and board. Now we'll line up to the node. And this will be in about 40 minutes. Sure. So we'll let the Kerbonauts get a bit of a break. That'll be absolutely fine. And we've got about 40 seconds here, although we are off of the node. We should probably orient to that. 20 seconds. 10. And 3, 2, 1, 0. Mark. And off we go. Phenomenal. So we've got a decent amount of Delta V to burn through here, of course. It's not like we're going to be short on Delta V anywhere here, so we can just physics warp our way through here. We've got lots and lots of Delta V here. 15 meters per second. And we've got a little bit more to go here. This is good enough. So that'll do 0.1 meters per second off, but how are we doing? 0.6 kilometers. I like it. So sometime around here, we can start a corrective braking burn. We'll switch over into target mode. Okay, and this is going to be on the braking side. We're going to be at like 200 meters per second apart. So we want to orient over this way-ish. Cool. And we want to push this node ever so slightly over here. We're not all that far off in terms of needed corrections. So we can just push this right about here. And for now, that'll do. We'll head over to the relative velocity minus. This is now saying 0.5 kilometers. That may or may not be correct. And where is the actual station now? 15 kilometers out? Okay. Let's warp in until about 10, and we'll do another corrective burn. Okay. That'll be right about here or so. Kill rot, please. Thank you. Okay. Right about here now. That'll do. Relative velocity minus. And we can see we're about 5 kilometers away now. We should probably begin a braking burn at around, just to be safe, 2.5 or 3 kilometers. Somewhere around there. I'm going to do it at 2.5. So we're at 3, and we're at 2.5 now. Beginning braking burn. We're loading in the model. Excellent. 1.5 kilometers apart. 1 kilometer apart. 700 meters. 400 meters. I believe we may overshoot this. Luckily, we're not on a collision course. Yeah, an overshoot is definitely happening here. Noted. Well, this is just because our thrust to weight is low, right? But that's okay. So we're just, at this point, going to continue to bring this down to a halt. We only overshot by like 100 meters. That's really not too bad. Okay, so there's a halt. Now we can burn towards target. The question is, where do we want to attach the arm? Now, we can ask, where is it attached at the end? The answer to that is on a module that isn't here yet. Technically, it's attached here. So that is on the S0 truss segment, right? So that's not really something that we can attach it to. It doesn't exist yet. The S0 truss is going to be launched in a couple of launches here. So it's going to have to be somewhere temporary for the time being. That's reasonably okay. No problem at all. And we are then going to head on in here a tiny, tiny bit, 0.5 meters per second. We're just going to need to get a little bit closer here for right now. Okay. And let's just burn in at about 2 meters per second will do. There we go. So that's great for now. And that is our braking direction. Gotcha. So I think for now we can just attach it to... It might be easiest to attach it to the Destiny Lab. Reason that would be easiest is because that has built-in ladders. So, in that case, we probably want to go... Let's think here. We probably want to go in the up direction from our current vector. Okay, so something about like that. And then we can begin braking as well. There we go. So that's looking reasonably fine. We're currently going in the forward vector here. So I'm going to continue to brake us, and we're going to want to go over this way just a little bit, correcting our trajectory here. Okay. And bringing us to a halt. Now, we're going to want to go this way just a smidge. I'm going to turn RCS off. I'm going to rotate us like so. RCS back on. And we're going to head this direction a little bit. We shouldn't be clipping any of these solar panels. Should be reasonably fine on that front. And yeah, I'm just going to attach the Canadarm like out over here for now. It will be able to move itself, in theory. So that'll be fine. Okay. I want to halt our sideways momentum about now. That was a bit too much. Okay, about there. Now I want to rotate us so that we are no longer tail down. So I want to position about like this. There we go. And go forward a bit. There we go. Adjusting our trajectory ever so slightly. And we're just going to park ourselves right over here. Cool. And we'll just bring that down to a halt. At this point, we're going to open up our bay here. We might need to pull out a little bit from here. Maybe. But I'm going to rotate us on over here. Are we going to impact the station doing this? No. We appear to be clear. Maybe the tail is going to impact this solar panel. I think it is. So we're going to need to rotate about like this. Now we're clear. Excellent. Okay, at this point, we can start our deployment. However, it did take us a little longer than expected to get here, so the deployment is going to be a next episode sort of thing. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.